and welcome to She's the Boss live stream show, which is all about showcasing female founders and women doing extraordinary things in business. And I am so excited to introduce and be interviewing, because I'm going to learn a lot myself, the fabulous Olivia Long from SMSFAI. Gosh, that is a mouthful of letters, that's for sure. So now that I've said the name for you, tell everybody what it is you do, Olivia.
Okay, so SMSF means self-managed super fund.
Yeah.
So basically, we're self-managed super fund experts. We handle the establishment, the administration, accounting, tax, compliance, and all the legal aspects around running your own superannuation fund.
Wow. So tell me a little bit more about it, because I know you're super passionate about super funds. And obviously I work in the women's space. It is a very big conversation around the fact that women don't have enough of it and probably don't really understand a lot of the strategies involved in it. So why do you care?
Correct. It's interesting you ask. I actually came from a very poor background. I started working when I was 13. Because
wow, Olivia, 13.
Yeah, Big W was my claim to fame, because my parents simply didn't have any money for anything extra, and I knew that if I wanted anything, I had to go out and earn it myself. So that was where my drive for working and my work ethic was founded, probably during my teens.
Yeah.
So I spent 7 years working in stockbroking. That was interesting. Learned a lot about investments. But then
and I imagine you were probably one of very few women in the stockbroking area, were you? Yeah. It's one of those things that I've always said, because I worked in London for a while, and the city boys, which are all the guys that work in stockbroking, were around, and I always used to think, I said to my boys, I wish you'd just become a stockbroker for a few years, because it really sets you up for life. But it's a very, as I said, city boys. Were you one of very few women in that role?
I was, and I was, to make it matters worse or better, I started with the firm on the Gold Coast, and I ended up moving down to Melbourne for a promotion to a management role. So I was actually in a senior role quite young in a Melbourne office. So I lied then about my age. This is in my early 20s. I said I was in my late 20s.
Right.
So when I was actually hitting my 25th birthday, they all thought it was my 30th, and I was trying to hide it. And I was like, no. But I was actually quite young. So it was quite interesting and challenging, but that's okay. I embraced it with tenacity, like I do everything. And it was a great foundation. But I did move back to Adelaide for family reasons.
Okay. And what stage is that? So this is after working in stockbroking for a while?
Yeah.
Right.
So I started with a small firm that had that was setting up a self-managed superannuation business, and most of them actually come out of accounting practices, and this one came out of a chartered accounting firm. So we started with 52 clients, and over the 14 years I was there at the helm, we grew that to nearly 4,000, and I established 2 other companies along the journey. So I was running three separate companies, 2 different Australian financial services license, and we were one of the first firms back then to go offshore into the Philippines. So we established in the Philippines very early.
Wow, that's so interesting. And so, tell me what happened then.
So when I left that role, I decided to accept a position with an ASX-listed company to go in and establish a self-managed super fund division for them. So that was quite easy, walking into a new role and just recreating what I'd done several times over. And I started there with 120 funds, and 4 years later we were approaching 4,000 funds.
Gee, this 4,000 is obviously your sweet spot.
I know.
Twice.
But after after 5 years in the listed environment, I realised that corporate doesn't suit my style.
Why?
I'm very outspoken and very opinionated, and I like to have an opinion on things.
Great.
And operating in that environment, I wasn't allowed to speak to the media, and I had no voice, and I have a loud voice that wants to be heard. So I decided that after 20 years in super, it was time to go out and back myself and establish my own firm, which is what I've done. And
I met you, so that's only earlier this year, isn't it? It's quite new.
Yeah, in February. So, but I did take a 6-month sabbatical. First, I took some time when I was trying to decide on the name. I'm like, okay, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I'm very well known. Both firms were quite significant players.
Yeah.
If I'm going to come out with something for people, it needs to be next level amazing. So what's it going to be? And as I reflected on it, what came to me was the next, going offshore was huge 20 years ago, but now innovation is going to be all around AI. So I actually did a name search and found out SMSFAI is still available. And I decided...
That's the universe telling me I'm meant to do it.
100%. The universe gives me everything. I walk on the beach every morning. Every idea comes to me on my morning walk. So I don't miss them for anything. But literally, so I said AI, no one's doing it yet. I didn't know a lot about it. So as I took my 6-month break, I did a lot of reading, a lot of educating, a lot of, learning more about it, how it works, looking at people that were doing it, etc. And I ended up stumbling across a piece of technology by a firm called Digital Rapport, where they use AI to provide personalised video reporting to trustees, along with a set of financial statements.
Ah, clever.
Now, the reason it's important is twofold. One, Forbes surveys indicate that people retain 95% of what they see in a video, compared with just 10% of what they read. So those stats are amazing. So that's the first thing, is retention. But the second thing is the videos really succinctly explain to a person what happened with their super during the year compared to last year, how it's performing.
So hang on a second, you've jumped ahead because they were doing trustee reporting. So did you then contact them and say, can you please just massage this for self-managed super funds?
Well, it was designed for self-managed.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's me showing my ignorance.
Yeah, so 100%. And again, that sort of...
I love that. So is it your face they see when you're explaining? So
it's not my face, it's my artificial intelligence voice.
Ooh.
So I've got a Microsoft AI certified voice.
Right.
And that literally pulls the data out of the accounting software and delivers it in a personalized video with charts and graphs and my voice in the background.
How amazing is that? Oh my God, I love it.
It's very cool. And the clients that have seen it love it, because a lot of my clients don't understand how to read financial statements.
Hello.
If you're not a small business owner, you look at this wad of documents and just go like, what?
Yeah, what bits are the important bits? What can I skim? I don't know.
It doesn't mean anything to me. So that's why, and a lot of people have financial advisors to help explain information to them.
Yeah.
But the fact is, we're in the industry at the moment, there's a shortage of financial advisors. I'm sure you've
right. Oh, I didn't know that.
Across Australia, there's a shortage because the compliance requirements around providing advice are so significant now, thanks to ASIC, that
everybody left in droves.
Yeah, 100%. The industry saw a mass exodus.
Yeah.
And literally there's a lot of people that are in the middle ground that don't have enough wealth to justify the fees that a financial advisor wants to charge, but they're too small to ignore. So they're just kind of doing it on their own. So what I like about our technology is that it helps people understand the information more easily.
Yeah, I love that.
So I stumbled across the AI piece, and that was my starting point. But my long-term goal is to get to a point where we're using AI to do the checks and balances and the reconciliation of the superannuation documents.
Which probably, I mean, when you think of the what's happened in the last 12 months with AI, or 18 months since it didn't exist, which is kind of hard to imagine anyway, probably be a year. It's not going to be long before you have all of that available as well.
Sure. And look, the statistics show that by the end of 2024, so we're talking, a month away, 6 weeks, 90% of the information that's published online will be generated by AI.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that, but I can believe it. But yeah. So who are you targeting? Who is your ideal client and why?
So my ideal clients are people that want to take control of their retirement savings.
Right.
That want somebody...
Which is a very big group, I would think. Have you got sort of a niche within that of women, men, small business owners, old people, young people? Doesn't matter.
Look, the facts are the 25 to sort of 44-year-old brackets are the ones that are establishing the majority of new funds these days.
Okay.
So the younger generation, I'm expecting the younger generation are going to have a bigger role with self-managed super going forward. But in fact,
why do you think that?
Because they have access to a lot of information at their fingertips, and information is so much more readily available than it used to be.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I wonder whether it's because a lot of my generation, so their parents have not done a great job about super, and they watch that and they go, I don't want to be like that.
Well, it's a little bit different, isn't it? Because they're starting their career with already we're up to 11.5% super.
Yeah, true.
Far more significant than what it used to be when I started my career, or my mum, when she was working, they didn't even have super.
No, we didn't have super. I remember it coming in when I was about 24, and it was, I can't even remember what the percentage was, quite low.
Yeah.
And we thought, we're all going to be rich when we grow old.
And it's just so much, it's a more tangible asset.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And the second thing is a lot of the younger generation are making a lot of money with cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And as have I, fortunately. I got on the crypto wagon a long time ago because of my role in super. But those people can see how investing in assets outside of traditional assets you can get with your APRA regulated
makes sense.
can potentially make more money.
Yeah.
And if you want to invest in property, whether it be direct property, commercial property, or even in cryptocurrency, or another asset class that's done well over time is precious metals.
Yes, last week I interviewed a gold bullion dealer about self-managed super funds.
Yeah. So, and again, I've got precious metal in my fund too. So it's very diverse. I've got a bit of everything, but I get to control where, how, who, and how much.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to take control of that compliance side, but they're not accountants. They don't understand the legalities around it. And what do they need to do to make sure that the fund's complying and get everything done? That part isn't the exciting part.
So you become like the wing woman, you and the AI, to say, we'll go on this journey with you, we'll guide you, and we'll make it really easy for you to understand where you are at any particular moment.
Correct. So I've got a team of accountants who do all the processing in the background.
Yeah, great.
They've worked with me for a long time. So they make sure that they provide the reporting and the information so that clients can just focus on the investing part of it. So we do all of that for them.
Wow, I love it. It's so refreshing to hear someone really passionate about this particular space. And of course, I really care about women, and I know that it's one of our downfalls. So it's particularly good to be able to hear about something where you can easily access the information without having to be a genius at spreadsheets.
Yeah, and look, there's going to be a big shift coming forward in the intergenerational wealth transfer.
Yes.
The experts are saying we're going to see a wealth transfer of nearly $5 trillion from the older generation to the next generation over the next years. And women are going to play the majority role in deciding how that wealth is handled.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And the reason for that is we're seeing a shift to, it used to be the first son of the family used to be the one that would step up and take control of the estate.
Yeah.
And we're literally seeing, and it's been referred to as the eldest daughter.
Wow, I'm an eldest too. Not happening in my family. My brother, next one down's doing it.
Yeah, so literally within Australia, it's moving now towards the eldest daughter.
I wonder why. What, have you got a theory as to why?
I think because the next generation of women are becoming more financially savvy.
Yes, and maybe also are looking after their parents as they age, and so therefore that bond is quite close.
Correct. A bit of that. There's no longer that whole the traditional elder son is in charge of everything doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very aristocratic English kind of stupid.
And I dare say there's a lot more women now that were living in unhappy marriages that have decided to move on and do it alone, that have been forced to become financially savvy because they're suddenly in control of their own assets, and they're far more savvy than, say, my parents' generation where the female
the wife just said, I don't do the bills, I do the cooking, and that
correct. Correct. Big changes. And
changes.
And I think as we go forward, in the younger generation, men and women, they're just equal. They don't even see the nation like we grew up with. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, wow, amazing. Okay, so specifically, and I don't even know if this is a question that's relevant, so tell me if it isn't.
Yep.
Have you got products or services or packages that you want to talk about for people, or is it come and talk to you and it's all tailored? I don't know how it works.
No, so we do have products. We basically we offer the establishment and then the ongoing administration and accounting. So the full packages, and they're available via our website. But it literally is, if they're interested in setting up a fund, I offer a free consultation.
Oh, great.
So sit down, have a chat about where you're at and what you're hoping to achieve. If you're not interested in making decisions, if you're not a good decision maker and you don't know anything about investments, self-managed super probably isn't for you. You need to be prepared to make decisions about your finances and actually action them, because you will have direct access to your bank account for your super, and you will be responsible for making sure that you're generating returns every year.
Oh, I see a course in your future where you're going to help all those women that you say it's not right for you, but they know that really they should be doing it, but they just don't know. I reckon there's an education space you could fill there too, Olivia. Mm-hmm. So, okay, talk to me. I know you haven't been going for that long, but I'm guessing you've had some clients and a fair bit of feedback so far. Can you tell me some stories of people you've worked with and how it's worked for them?
Absolutely. Well, firstly is a large group of clients I had that came from a referral source a long time ago that was encouraging them to invest in Bitcoin. Now, for years, the ASIC has said that people shouldn't really start an SMSF for less than $500,000. Right. So if you go and see a financial advisor, that's all their PI is licensed to recommend you. You've got to have $500,000 before you start.
So what's a PI?
Professional indemnity insurance.
Okay.
So they can't advise. They're just not allowed to. If you've got anything smaller, you have to go to traditional super. So there's a large group of people that establish their funds with a lower balance, despite what ASIC said, that have seen growth. I mean, I'm sure you've heard about what Bitcoin's doing, especially since Trump took office.
I remember being sent things when it was for Second Life and it was 6 cents. And even now I just am like,
I know. I think last week it was 138,000 Aussie, but so huge.
Stop it.
And Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies that are the same. So there's a lot of people that have made significant money off that journey. But I saw them sort of take the risk, help them through navigating the self-managed super setup, and answered their questions along the way. And they've all done really, really well. And I'm just delighted for them, because at the end of the day, all I want is for people to make money so that when they retire, they have a great quality of life.
Well, okay, here's a good question for you then. Have you got a story of someone where they have retired with a whole lot of money and done something exciting with it?
I do. This is, and probably my favorite story. And I couldn't say this to you if I was a licensed advisor, but I'm not now.
Okay, so and you don't have to tell names or anything.
I get a lot of people come to me that have significant wealth, and they say, I'm thinking about giving some to my children now. What do you think?
Yeah.
Now, if parents, all I want as a daughter of parents, elderly parents, is time. I want time for my parents. I want time for my children to enjoy their lives and be there and be available to them.
Yeah.
So if as a parent you can give your children money now while you're still alive, you're giving them the gift of time. You're giving them, if they can work at all.
I had never thought of it that way. The way I've always thought about it is, wouldn't you be interested to know what they would do with that money and maybe enjoy it with them, or enjoy how they renovate their house, go on holidays, 100%. Build a business, whatever.
100%. Give it to them now. So potentially, I mean, unfortunately, so many of us, even where there's a nuclear family or two parents, both parents are working full time because they need to just to pay the bills.
Yeah.
If you can gift your child a house and allow one of them, free them up to have that time, the impact on their family and their quality of life is going to be huge. And I love it when people say that. I say, go for it. You can't take it with you.
Except my mother always said that someone said to her once at a travel agent, if you don't travel first class, your kids will, which was basically enjoy your money while you've got it, because you don't want to live. And there are people that you would have heard of, and I certainly have, who hold on to the money because they want to give it to their kids when they die and live a pretty frugal kind of parsimonious life while they're doing it. And I don't think any child wants to see their parent do that either.
No. So yeah, my advice would be, I love it when clients spend it while they're alive to enjoy it. And family holidays.
So what have you seen people do? Have they given a house before?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the kids do? Did they go, oh my God, like berserk?
Yeah, like it's just a miracle. I've seen people gift new cars.
Oh, wow.
I've seen people invest in children's setting up a business for them.
Nice.
Giving them the opportunity to run their own business. What else was
I know my mum paid for the private education for her grandkids.
Yes,
again, she said, I want to leave a legacy for something other than just, giving you money. But she gets to see that and gets to see the grandkids go older and
that's quite common. That's a great idea too. But also investing in buying an asset for your grandkids or your children and not telling them about it until you pass. Sitting there appreciating over on the side. But really, I think my personal philosophy is do it now.
Yeah.
Like, do it now while you can see the joy that they're going to get, the benefit that if you can afford to, do it.
Yeah, I think that's true. And so in terms of stories, and again, I don't need names or anything, but has there been something that's really surprised you that somebody has done with either with their super fund, what they've invested in, or go on then, tell me that one. I can see you nodding for that one. Where is there something someone's done that's a bit out the box?
Yeah, I've got a great client who has gone out and set up a wellness sanctuary in Melbourne, actually.
Wow.
A healing centre. So it's a place where people can go, and it's got float tank therapy, infrared saunas, sound baths, all of those things that help alleviate stress, which is such a big part of everybody's day.
And also cancer, as a lot of people say anyway, that's the sort of thing that you need to do, either if you've got it or just prevent yourself getting it.
Yep. 100%. So she's amazing. But they've used through their super fund, they've been able to buy some equipment to lease to the company.
Really? How interesting. And did they buy the building that the company's in? Is that another option?
Not in this scenario, but it is possible.
Wow. I'd never really thought of anything to that extent.
Yeah, the only time that you can actually use your super and benefit from the investment you make now is in the environment where you've got a commercial property that the company buys that's being leased to the business at commercial terms. So you'll see a lot of practitioners do that, a lot of doctors, dentists, vets. Yeah.
I think my dad did that. He was a doctor too. Amazing. Olivia, I've just learned so much straight away. Can you tell me if someone wants to work with you, which I imagine they will after they've seen this, and certainly to experience that AI component you've brought in, which I think is so innovative, what is the best way for it? Don't give away phone numbers, but what's the best way for people to get hold of you?
Just visit, and you'll need to type the whole thing in for the moment, www.smsfai.com.au, and there's a link to book a free consultation with myself. But also I've got a stack of blogs that are really interesting reading.
Oh, cool. And of course, you're also on LinkedIn, I know, because I met you at that 50 top leaders thing. So, and are you on Facebook as well, or is the fund on Facebook? Or
Facebook,
do we go
LinkedIn, Instagram? Just Google SMSFAI.
No excuse not to contact Olivia. Olivia, thank you so much for this interview. I found it fascinating. Excellent. And I've learned a lot. I hope anybody watching that you have learned a lot as well. Thank you so much for watching. And this is a weekly show, so you're very welcome to come back next Monday and see my next guest. I also have the She's the Boss Facebook group, which is a group of nearly 5,000 very engaged women business owners. So if you're looking for that support, please join us. And you can go to she'sthebossgroup.com to find out all about our events, our coaching, and if you want one-on-one coaching, I do that too. Olivia, I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed our interview, and thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jules.